Okay, today we are tackling a really tough but incredibly important question. It's one that carries a ton of emotional and even legal weight. How can you possibly tell the difference between someone who truly loves you and someone who's just using you for a passport?
And this is the question, isn't it? If you're in an international relationship, this thought might be living rent-free in your head. It's a huge deal. And that feeling of not knowing for sure, well, it can be just awful.
So that's what we're going to do here. I want to give you a clear, psychology-backed toolkit. We're going to move past just gut feelings and actually break down real, observable patterns of behavior. The goal is for you to get some clarity and, most importantly, protect your heart.
All right, so first things first, to spot a behavior, we've got to have a name for it. This is going to be the core idea that guides us through everything else.
The key phrase to get familiar with is transactional affection. Now, this isn't the normal give and take you see in any healthy relationship. Think of it more like a light switch. The affection flips on when things like visas or sponsorships are moving forward, and it flips right back off the second there's a delay. You'll see exactly how this works in a minute.
Let's dive into our first set of signs. These are all about what you're hearing in your conversations. Words can reveal a lot about a person's real priorities. And in this case, the main topic of conversation is a massive clue. Just look at this slide. The contrast here is so stark. A genuine partner, their conversations are all about you and the life you're building together, the bond, the future, the connection. But a user, their focus is purely logistical. They are way more excited about the country itself, the visa rules, the paperwork, and how much money they can make. When the excitement is for the place, not the person, that is a huge red flag. Talk can be cheap. People can say whatever you want to hear, but patterns in their actions, those rarely ever lie. So let's shift gears and really scrutinize what they do, not just what they're saying. And here it is. This is that transactional affection we just talked about, laid out plain as day. This might be the single strongest sign you'll see. The relationship feels distant, maybe a little cold, but then, the moment you bring up marriage or sponsorship, bam, a sudden tidal wave of love and attention comes your way. And what almost always comes next? A request. Hey, I just need you to sign this paper. Or, can you send this document? Here's another classic pattern, the big immigration rush. See, someone with an ulterior motive isn't trying to build a lifelong relationship. They're trying to complete a project. And projects have deadlines. So they'll push for a super fast marriage. They'll create this false sense of urgency, saying things like, oh, the process takes forever. We have to start right now. It's a tactic, and it lets them skip all the deep emotional work that a real marriage is built on. Here's a great way to test the waters. Look for signs of commitment to a life with you, not just a life in your country. What happens when you bring up having kids? Do they brush it off with, let's just get there first? Do they keep you a total secret from their family and friends? Someone who's really in it for the long haul wants to build an entire future with you, not just get past an immigration checkpoint. And all of this really boils down to the emotional core of the relationship. Where is their investment really going? Is it in you as a person with your own hopes and dreams and feelings, or is it just in the opportunity that you represent? I mean, think about it. Does this person know your favorite food? Do they know your biggest fear? A person who's just using you is often emotionally checked out. They don't ask about your day because, honestly, they're just not that curious. Their eyes only light up when the conversation circles back to their one true goal, the visa, the travel, the move. Okay, now it's time for a little bit of detective work. People are creatures of habit. And manipulators, well, they tend to stick with the patterns that get them what they want. You need to look into their past. Is there a pattern of short-lived relationships, and strangely, they're all with foreigners? A history of getting their visa rejected right before they suddenly rush to marry you is an especially bright red flag. It kind of suggests that you aren't their first choice. You were just the next step in their strategy. This is the baseline. This is what healthy communication in a real partnership looks like. When you have a worry, you should be able to say it out loud and be met with understanding, with reassurance. But when you question a user's intentions, you get the exact opposite. Try asking them, hey, would you still want to be with me if we couldn't move abroad? And just watch what happens. Instead of a calm, clear answer, you are likely going to get anger. They'll flip the script on you, call you insecure, accuse you of overthinking,
and do literally anything to avoid answering that simple question. That's a textbook manipulation tactic. So let's say you're seeing these flags pop up. What do? This last part is all about empowering yourself, trusting that feeling in your gut, and taking steps to protect yourself.
Please do not ignore your feelings. Your intuition is like a supercomputer, constantly picking up on tiny little clues that your conscious brain might just brush off. If you feel drained or unappreciated or like you're just a means to an end, that feeling is data. It's one of the most reliable alarm systems you have. And this, unfortunately, is the final, painful proof. The moment that permanent residency card arrives, the moment that visa is stamped in their passport, the mask drops. The affection you knew just vanishes. They get distant, they start picking fights over nothing. They're just looking for an excuse to leave. This is the classic endgame.
Recognizing the signs is step one, but it's taking action that really protects you. So how do you get back in the driver's seat of the situation? Here's a 4-step plan to take back control. Number 1, slow everything down. A partner who genuinely loves you will understand. A user will freak out. 2, test their intentions. Suggest delaying the move for a year and just watch how they react. 3, demand mutual investment, not just financially, but emotionally. A partnership goes both ways. And finally, number 4, talk to your trusted friends. They're outside the emotional bubble and they can often see the red flags that you're too close to notice.
At the end of the day, this is the simple truth. A real, lasting partnership is built slowly. It's built on a foundation of shared values, real emotional connection, and genuine compatibility. It is never, ever built on a rush timeline driven by paperwork and a sense of urgency. So, I'll leave you with this final question. I want you to look at the evidence, trust your gut, and be really honest with yourself. Is your relationship built on a true connection, or is it a transaction? Answering that question could change everything.